Hello, I am live now, literally. So today I'm here to revise dbms whole. Actually, today is my Viva, and literally I didn't know a single word about anything. So I will here to prepare. I'm very scared and very much scared. That's why I think I should come to the YouTube live and prepare myself. So let's we have only 2 hours for prepare. Just go through it. Okay, I will start with my first lecture. Okay, uh, you if you are in the front of an interview panel, then mm, what is the first question for you? I will split the screen like that. Okay. I think according to me, the first question is for dbms. What is data? Right. So I think. I am very poor at English speaking, so I have to speak in English today. That's why I am speaking English. Okay, so 8 minute. Hello, Mihir Rahat. Mihir, I hope you also help me. So the first question is, what is data? I will do this. I will prepare it with ChatGPT as well, just for the sake of convenience. Let I open it once again. Okay. So, in the front of interview panel, the first question in DBMS comes to be data. What is data? So, according to you, what is data? Data is the facts, raw and material. I think it should be printed format as well. Let me check. Let me check. होना तो नहीं है. Okay, it's okay. I will search here. What is data? What is data? In dbms. So according to me, if I was in front of interview panel, I will say data is a raw facts and figure. In dbms, डेटा रेफर टू रॉ फैक्ट्स और फिगर और इंफॉर्मेशन नहीं, क्योंकि डेटा को जब प्रोसेस करते हैं तब वो इंफॉर्मेशन बनती है ना. तो हम ये नहीं बोल सकते कि डेटा अभी से इंफॉर्मेशन है. कहाँ गया कहाँ गया कहाँ गया. Yeah. Pre-processed data meaning data. ठीक है. तो data are stored in the database and can be processed to produce meaningful information. हाँ, it can be said that data is a collection of raw facts and detail that represent information about entities, object, people, places, or event in an organization, and it is stored systematically in a database for easy access and manipulation. ये भी अच्छा है ना. User data, types of data in database. E- User data, actual data is stored in the database. Actual data, metadata, data about data, just describe structure, data type, constraint. Operational data used for database management like logs, statistics. Characteristics of data used stored systematically in tables, accessible through queries, consistent and accurate, shareable among multiple users. Data in DBMS raw information organized in tables, so it can be easily stored, retrieved and processed. अगर मैं टेबल वर्ड यूज़ करूँगी तो वो रिलेशनल डेटाबेस मैनेजमेंट आ जाएगा, इसलिए मैं इसे डेटाबेस टेबल का भी नहीं जिक्र करूंगी। डेटा और टेबल में डेटा एंड इंफॉर्मेशन में डिफरेंस पूछ लेते हैं, खुद से ही बता रहा है वैसे भी। Raw facts and figures that have no meaning on their own, but when it is processed or organized, that has meaning and is useful for decision making, then it becomes information. Nature unprocessed or processed form a symbol, number, text, or raw value. Summaries, report, insight, dependency, information is derived from data, can't exist without data. Usefulness may not be directly useful, it can't be directly useful, always useful and meaningful. Simple example, raw data information in dbms context, data is stored in tables. Database provides tools like SQL queries to process data and generate information. ठीक है, ठीक है, मेरे हिसाब से इतना सही रहेगा। तुम लोग बताओ। इसको मैं एक काम करती हूँ, नोशन पे नोट्स बनाते चलते हैं ताकि एंड मोमेंट पे रिवाइज कर लें। भाई 2 घंटे में पूरा dbms करना है, बहुत ही मुश्किल काम है। आ जाओ भाई। नोशन, तुम लोग जब तक अपने बारे में बताओ। dbms डेटा। सो मैं डेटा में क्या लिखूंगी, क्या बताऊंगी, आई गेस। Data is a collection of raw facts and details that represent information about entities in an organization, and it is stored systematically in a database for easy access and manipulation. अच्छा, and data refer to raw facts and figure that is processed to that is processed to represent information. Data is a collection of raw facts and figure. Okay. Data is a collection of raw facts and figure. Collection of raw facts and detail, raw facts and figure that represent information when it is processed about entities in an organization, and it is stored systematically about entities like object, people, place, or event in an organization, and it is stored systematically in a database for easy access and manipulation. ठीक है, थोड़ा सा रट लेते हैं। कंट्रोल सी, कंट्रोल वी। Data is a collection of raw facts and detail that when processed represent information about entities in an organization, and it is stored systematically in a database for easy access and manipulation. Data is a collection of raw facts and details that when processed represent information about entities or like object, places, people, event, like object, places, people, event in an organization, and it is stored systematically in a database, for easy access and manipulation. Data is a collection of raw facts and figures that, when processed, represent information about any event, about any entity like object, places, people, or event in an organization, and is stored systematically in a database to for easy access and manipulation. बहुत ज़्यादा अटक रही हूँ, ऐसे कैसे इंटरव्यू दूंगी मैं। Data is a collection of raw facts and figures that, when processed, represent information about entities in an organization, and it is stored systematically in a database for easy access and manipulation. ठीक है, अब आगे बढ़ते हैं थोड़ा, क्योंकि 2 घंटे कम ही है। और इसने क्या बताया? ओके। टाइप्स ऑफ डेटा इन डेटाबेस, यूजर डेटा होता है, मेटा डेटा होता है और ऑपरेशनल डेटा होता है। टाइप्स ऑफ डेटा होता है यूजर डेटा, actual data stored in database like name, address, or the information about user. Metadata is about data about data. Describe structure, data type, constant. Describe structure, data type, constant. Operational data used for database management. Use for database management. ठीक है. Use for database management. Use for database management. Like logs, statistics. Give all things in detail, not in simple one line. I have an interview. I have an interview of dbms today. So please prepare me for advanced level. Zero. Starting from zero. ठीक है. In the context of dbms, data refer to raw facts, figures, symbols, or detail that describe object or entities or event that describe. Okay, that describe object or entities. These facts by themselves do not have any meaning until they are processed and organized in a useful way. Data is stored in a structured form, usually in tables, so it can be efficiently accessed, manipulated, or updated. आप बताओ कौन सी इन्फॉर्मेशन ज़्यादा अच्छी लग रही है? इससे ज़्यादा बेटर ये लग रही है मुझे. Data refer to the raw facts and figure or detail that describe object, entities, or event. These facts by themselves do not have any meaning until they are processed and organized in a useful way. ठीक है. They have in dbms, data is stored in a structured format, usually in tables, so it can be efficiently accessed, manipulated, or updated. ठीक है. ये तो हो गया डेटा के बारे में. फिर this table is data. It contains raw value like number and text. What is information? Information is processed or organized data that is meaningful and useful for decision making. It is produced after applying certain operation like sorting, filtering, aggregating on data. Like the average marks of a student, youngest children. Okay, when data is sorted, we can find it the height of the student. These are information because they are derived from data and carry meaning and purpose. ठीक है. एग्जाम्पल से समझाएंगे तो अच्छा फर्क पड़ेगा. बहुत खांसी आ रही है. Information is processed or organized data that is meaningful and useful for decision making. It is produced after applying certain operations, sorting, filtering, aggregating, etc. on data. Information is processed or organized data that is meaningful and useful for decision making. That is meaningful and useful for decision making. It is produced After applying certain operations, it is produced after applying certain operation like sorting, filtering, aggregating on data. Yeah. What is data? Data is a raw facts and in data is raw facts and figure or detail that can be that describe object entities or event that describe object entity or event. These facts by themselves have no meaning. These facts by themselves have no meaning until they are processed and organized in a useful way. Until they are processed and organized in a useful way. Data refer to the raw facts figure and raw facts and figure आराम से डेटा के बारे में 3 पॉइंट है रॉ फैक्ट्स फिगर डिटेल अबाउट entities object or any person place or event that which have no meaning on their own until we process themselves and organized in a useful way बस इतना सा है और इन मतलब डीबीएमएस में नहीं बोलेंगे क्योंकि रिलेशनल आर डीबीएमएस पढ़ा है हमने बहुत सारे डीबीएमएस होते हैं 3 चीजें हैं डेटा के बारे में फिर से data is a data is a raw facts or figure or detail of any event object or any entity. Data is raw facts and figure. uh, Data is a raw facts and figure क्या बोल रही हूँ मैं आराम से data is a raw facts and figure of any event object or any entity that often नहीं describe आएगा describe word important है data is a collection okay collection word भी भूल गई मैं हाँ data is a collection of raw facts figure that describe an object event or any entity which have their uh, no meaning on their own but when processed it can give a useful insights to us until they are processed and organized in a useful way. Data is a collection of raw facts and figure. Data is a collection of raw facts and figure that describe any entity, object, or place or any event which have their no meaning on their own, but when it is processed, then it become information, and we can organize in a useful way. We can organize in a useful way to get some insight from it. Get some insight from it. ठीक है data is a collection of raw facts figure that describe any object entity or any event which have their no meaning on their own until they are processed and organized in a useful way. Mhm. Types of data, there are many types of data, but significantly they are of 3 types: user data, metadata, and operational data. User data that collects from the user like name, address, and all. Uh, Metadata is the info data about data. Like we store the data structure, data. I'm sorry. Data type of the data or the data type of the data. अरे बाप रे. That describe structure, data type, constraint, etc. Metadata is the data about data that describe mm, data structure, type of data, or any constraint about data. So, what about next? The third one is operational data. Okay, it is used for the manipulation, or it is used for database management. It is used for database management. Like, I have to come up with detail, like, just describe type of data in detail. Describe types of data in detail. Data in database management can be categorized in several ways depending on its purpose, structure, and usage. We will cover, okay, user data refer to the actual data stored by the user. User data refer to the actual data stored by user in database. The main content that the database is meant to manage. Okay, the main content, it represent real world entities like student, employee, ये सब ठीक है. uh, the main content that the dbms is meant to them is manage. Damage नहीं manage user data. Okay, it's about the data about the user. Like, it is the main content through which database is managed. Okay. It is the main content that the database is meant to manage. DBMS is meant to manage. It is the main content that is DBMS is meant to manage, and actually used by the stored by the user. It like for example, name and address created and maintained by the user, stored in table, can be modified using. ठीक है. Metadata describe the structure and properties of data stored in database. It provides information about data type, table name, column name, and constraint relationship. Metadata tells the DBMS what kind of data is dealing with. Okay, in simple term, we can say that user data tells us about what database is meant for, what DBMS is meant for. The main content of DBMS is meant for what. But in metadata, it tells us about data about data, like uh, st- yeah. Metadata tells us about DBMS, what kind of data it is dealing with, what kind of data it is dealing with, किस what kind of kind of data पे हम work कर रहे हैं, what kind of data we are dealing with, what kind of data we are dealing with. ठीक है. Metadata describe the metadata is the information about information, like data about data. It describes the structure and properties of data stored in the database. It provides information about data type. For example, it provides information about data type, table name, column name, constant relationship, etc. Or we can say that metadata in DBMS represent what kind of data we are dealing with. 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 फिर आता है operational data. System data. This type of data is maintained by the DBMS itself to manage internal operational. System data, catalog data. It includes logs, indexes, system statistics, operational data or system data. Operational data या फिर system data. Operational data or system data used for database management. Used for database management से ज़्यादा सही लग रहा है ये. This type of data is maintained by Database Management System (DBMS) itself to manage its internal operation. It includes logs, indexes, system statics, and user access information. Example: transaction log, indexes, user permission, performance statistics. Yes, sir. Okay. Invisible to end user, and it is invisible to end user. अरे यार लैपटॉप पे भी जाना है. It is invisible to end user. It is invisible to end user. Temporary data. Um, Temporary data that is generated during query processing or transaction and is not permanently stored in database. Derived data भाई सब होते हैं. Operational data or transactional data refer to the data that is continually updated during data business. अरे रुक जाओ, गलत हो गया. ये सिस्टम डेटा ही है. ऑपरेशनल डेटा अलग होता है, मतलब ये सिस्टम डेटा ही है. सिस्टम डेटा ठीक है, दो तीन टाइप बता देंगे और क्या. एंड नहीं काइंड ऑफ डेटा हुई है. ठीक है, सिस्टम डेटा के बाद operational data, transactional data. Operational or transactional data refer to the data that is continuously updated during operations, such as sales, transaction, order processing and banking operations. ठीक है. ठीक है. ऑपरेशनल डेटा. उसके बाद आता है अपना तीन, चौथा हो गया ऑपरेशनल डेटा. पांचवा आएगा टेम्पररी डेटा. टेम्पररी डेटा इज डेटा दैट इज जनरेटेड ड्यूरिंग क्वेरी प्रोसेसिंग. भाई ऑपरेशनल डेटा में क्वेरी प्रोसेसिंग और ट्रांजेक्शन एंड इज नॉट परमानेंटली स्टोर्ड इन दी डेटाबेस. तो अगर मैंने टेम्पररी डेटा बोला और ऑपरेशनल डेटा दोनों बोला तो इसमें वो हो सकती है, मिथ्स हो सकती हैं. और सर पूछ लेंगे दोनों में डिफरेंस क्या है, मैं नहीं बता पाऊंगी. इसको थोड़ा जानने देते हैं. Derived data, that is data generated or calculated from existing data in database. It is not entered manually, it is the result of computation or aggregation. ये डाल देते हैं. Derived data is the data that is generated or calculated from existing data. That is generated or calculated from existing data in database. It is not entered manually, but it is the result of computation or aggregations. हिस्टोरिकल डेटा. बस मास्टर डेटा रिप्रेजेंट कोर कंसिस्टेंट यूजेबल इंफॉर्मेशन. की बिजनेस. चलो ये सब रेफरेंस डेटा. पांच टाइप के डेटा वो होता है. बिग डेटा, मॉडर्न सिस्टम. इन मॉडर्न सिस्टम बिग डेटा रेफर टू द मैसिव वॉल्यूम ऑफ स्ट्रक्चर जनरेटेड बाय डिजिटल सिस्टम IoT एंड distributed databases. What are the types of data in dbms? User data, metadata, system data, temporary data, derived data, operational data, historical data, master data, reference data, and big data. What is the difference between metadata and user data? Actual business data. While metadata describes the structure and properties of what is the system catalog data, internal data maintained by DBMS for managing indexes, users, and performance. What is derived data and how it is generated? What is the difference between operational and historical? The current and frequent updated. Historical is archived and used for analysis. ठीक है. टाइप्स ऑफ डेटा हो गया. इतना बहुत है. दिस इज डेटा. दिस इज टाइप्स ऑफ डेटा. आते हैं इंफॉर्मेशन पे. ठीक है. What is information? Information is processed or organized data that is meaningful and useful for decision making. That is meaningful and useful for decision making. The processed data or organized the data with information is processed data that is organized in a meaningful way that is useful for which is useful for decision making. It is produced after it is produced after applying certain operation like sorting, filtering, aggregating, etc. on data. ठीक है. Level of data representation: bit, character, field, record, table, database. Types of data: user data, metadata, system data. Data processing cycle: input, process, output. Input, storage, process, output. डेटा मॉडल इन डीबीएमएस. पांच टाइप के मॉडल होते हैं. पांच टाइप के मॉडल होते हैं. hierarchical model, network model, relational model, entity relation model, object oriented model. Hierarchical model, network model, relational model, entity relationship model और object oriented model. ठीक है. Data information फिर आता है what is database. Collection of logical related data, collection of logical related data or collection of similar record. dbms set of program which is used to access and manipulate the data in efficient and fast manner. अब आ जाते हैं what is database. Database. What is database? Database is a collection of logically related data. What is database? A database is an organized collection of related data, logically related data that is stored and managed electronically. Using a formal definition. A database is a structured collection of interrelated data that represent information about a real-world domain and is designed to support efficient storage, retrieval, and manipulation of that data. A database is not just data; it's data with relationship, arranged in a logical structure like table, rows, and column that ensure consistency, accuracy, and easy access. Digital filing cabinet, but ठीक है. तो database is a structured collection. A database is a structured collection of interrelated data or logically related data that represent information about real world domain and is designed to support efficient storage, retrieval, and manipulation of that data. No, we have also collected data in the Excel format in the form of table, but it is not logically collected. It is not just logically collected, or it is not gives a relationship between data. This is the main difference between dbms and the other storage formatting data structure like Excel. In database is the collection of organized database is a organized collection of interrelated data or logically related data that is stored and managed नहीं, that represent information about a real world domain and is designed to support efficient storage, retrieval, and manipulation of that data. Database is the collection of database is organized collection of interrelated data or logically related data that represent information about real world domain and is mainly used for accessing data easily and for manipulating storage and retrieval, and is designed to support efficient storage, retrieval, and manipulation of that data. It ensures consistency, accuracy, and easy access, and it consistency, accuracy, and easy access, and it ensure consistency, accuracy, and this and that ensure consistency, accuracy, and easy access. and that ensure consistency, accuracy and easy access. ठीक है. कंपोनेंट, फिजिकल डिवाइसेस कम. ठीक है. कंपोनेंट पे आएंगे, टाइप्स ऑफ डेटाबेस पे भी आएंगे अभी. स्ट्रक्चर ऑफ रिलेशनल डेटाबेस में एडवांटेज ऑफ डेटाबेस, डिसएडवांटेज ऑफ डेटाबेस. डेटाबेस सॉफ्टवेयर यूज टू मैनेज द डेटाबेस. ठीक है. प्रोवाइड टूल्स लाइक CRUD. Tools provide tools for CRUD, create, read, update, delete operation. Active manages and control access. MySQL. Passive, it is passive, it just store information, but it can provide tools like CRUD. Now, the database is what stores the data is how you manage and interact with data. What is database? What are the main characteristics of database? It is organized, integrated, persistent, consistent, shared, and secure. Main characteristics of database. Okay, database dbms, management system, and characteristics of database. Characteristics of database. Characteristics of database. What is the difference between database and dbms? Give a real world example of database management in banking system. Database stores customer detail. Relational database. Database model that stores data in table. ठीक है. Database management system is a software that is used to create, store, manage, and manipulate database efficiently and securely. A DBMS is a software system. Database management system is a software system that enable user to define, construct, manipulate, and share databases among multiple users in the application while ensuring data integrity, security, and consistency. ये होगा DBMS. DBMS is a DBMS is a software system. DBMS is a software system that enable user to define, construct, manipulate and share databases. भैया 5 बज गए, अभी तक तो मैं एक पीडीएफ भी नहीं कर पाई. ठीक है. डीबीएमएस के बाद RDBMS. ठीक है. लेकिन मुझे थोड़ा बहुत पता है. तो कैरेक्टरिस्टिक्स ऑफ डेटाबेस, फिर RDBMS का थोड़ा सा पढ़ना है. ठीक है. इसे खत्म करते हैं. RDBMS. फिर है रो टपल. What is tuple? Tuple या record. Tuple या record. Tuple या record. Field या attribute. Field या attribute. ठीक है. डिग्री या arity. Number of attribute. डिग्री या arity. डिग्री या arity. Number of attribute. Field column. Attribute. Field. Attribute. Field. Columns. Attribute. Field. Column. डिग्री arity. नंबर ऑफ टपल्स होता है. कार्डिनैलिटी. इसका एक बार खत्म कर लेते हैं ना. कार्डिनैलिटी. फिर रिलेशनल स्कीमा. टेबल एब्स्ट्रैक्शन. हेडिंग ऑफ टेबल. स्ट्रक्चर ऑफ टेबल. स्टूडेंट. ओके. टेबल एब्स्ट्रैक्शन ऑफ टेबल. हेडिंग ऑफ टेबल. रिलेशनल रिलेशनल स्कीमा. रिलेशनल स्कीमा. Relational instance. Set of record. Relational extension. Relational extension. Relational instance. Relational instance. ठीक है. फिर FD पे आ गया. Functional dependency. FD. Whenever X value repeat, corresponding Y value must be same. FD. Functional dependency. Functional. ठीक है. मेरे पास इतना था नहीं. मैं उसमें Functional dependency, functional dependency, functional dependency. What is function? Consideration schema with two tuples instead. Where accelerate. Consider relational schema R. X and Y be the attribute set of the relational attribute set. X and Y are the attribute set of the relation R attribute set and T1 T2 any two tuple. So if X is function determining Y, then T1 X is equal to T2 Y, and then whenever X value repeat, corresponding Y value must be same. Whenever X value repeat, uh, whenever X value repeat, corresponding Y value must be same. Types of FD. Types of FD. Trivial, non-trivial, semi-non-trivial FD. Trivial, non-trivial, semi-non-trivial FD. Trivial, non-trivial, semi-non-trivial FD. Trivial FD, non-trivial FD, semi-non-trivial FD. फाइंड अ नॉन ट्राइवल एफडी. ठीक है, ये सब तो नहीं आएगा. ठीक है. ओके, फर्स्ट स्लाइड वाज खत्म. भाई वो पीडीएफ बन गई वो. यहाँ पे भी एफडी के 1 2 3 7 8 9 10 11 12 तक है. हाँ, फाइल सिस्टम वर्सेस इधर से याद आया. ठीक है, इन सब के बाद फाइल सिस्टम वर्सेस dbms. टाइप्स ऑफ एफडी. और ये थोड़ा फटाफट निकले तो ठीक है. जो टॉपिक पढ़ना है वो मैं डाल दे रही हूँ फटाफट से. एडिटिक आइडेंटिटी, रिलेशनल स्कीमा, इंस्टेंस, ट्रिवियल, नॉन ट्रिवियल, नॉन फाइंड नॉन ट्रिवियल एफडी. ठीक है, ये सब से प्रोसीजर नहीं पूछेंगे. आर्मस्ट्रॉन्ग एक्सियम्स, इन्फ्रेंस रूल्स. ठीक है, आर्मस्ट्रॉन्ग एक्सियम्स या फिर इन्फ्रेंस रूल. इन्फ्रेंस रूल्स. और क्या है? Attribute closure. Let R be the relational schema, X be the attribute set of the relational X is the attribute set of all possible attribute which is logically determined by attribute X is called attribute closure of X. ठीक है, ये वाली डेफिनेशन तो एकदम परफेक्ट है. Set of all possible attribute which is logically determined by the attribute X is called attribute closure of X. ये बार मुझे चार्जिंग में लगाना पड़ेगा. X प्लस set of all possible attributes which is logically determined by attribute X is called attribute closure of X. Set of all possible attributes which is logically determined by attribute x. Set of all possible attribute which is logically determined by the attribute x is called attribute closure of x. ठीक है, फिर आता है सुपर की. भाई सुपर की, कैंडिडेट की, ये सब बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है. Let R be the relation schema if all attribute relation R is determined by the attribute closure of X, then X is the super key. Super key. If all attribute of the relation R is determined by the attribute closure of X, then X is a super key. Is determined all attribute of relation R, then X is a super key. Super key. Super key. If all the attribute if all the attribute of a relation R, if all the attribute of relation R is determined by, if all the attribute of relation R is determined, if all the attribute of relation R is determined by any attribute X, then X is the super key. Super key. Any superset of super key is also super key. Super key. Minimal of super key is candidate key. Super key. Candidate key. And minimal set. Minimal candidate key and alternate secondary key. Minimal of super. If any proper subset of super key is also super key, then that proper subset is called candidate key and so on. Minimal of super key. Minimal of super key. If any proper subset of super key is also super key, then that proper subset, then minimal proper subset. Minimal of super key, or if any proper subset of super key, if any proper subset of super key, if any proper subset of super key is also super key, then that minimal that minimal subset, that minimal proper subset, proper subset is called candidate key. Okay, so let's move to the third. Row, column, degree, identity, cardinality, relational schema, relational instance, or relational extension V. Relational instance or relational extension. Instance or extension. Relational extension. ठीक है, ये और सारे वर्ड्स तो आ गए हैं. एफ डी हो गया, एट्रीब्यूट क्लोजर हो गया. एक सेकेंड. एफ डी हो गया, एट्रीब्यूट क्लोजर हो गया. ठीक है. Keys consider super key, candidate key, primary key. What is primary key? Can super alternate key. Primary key can primary key, candidate key, super key, or alternate key. Alternate key or secondary key. Mhm. Prime key, a set of attribute that present belong to any some candidate key. Prime key attribute. Prime या key attribute. Prime या key attribute. Prime या key attribute. Set of all attribute that present or belong to the any or some candidate key. जिस भी candidate key में prime attribute set of all attribute that is present or uh, belong to any of candidate key. Non set of all attribute that is not present or belong to the any of candidate key. Non prime attribute. Finding candidate key. Fourth, membership set. Candidate key minimal of super key. प्राइम एट्रीब्यूट मल्टीपल कैंडिडेट की पॉसिबल है. ठीक है, ये सब क्वेश्चंस हैं. एक ही घंटा बचा है. ठीक है, खत्म. फिर फोर्थ, फिफ्थ, फिफ्थ membership set. Let F be the given FD set. Any x tending to Y, FD is a member of FD set F. If x logically implied, okay, x logically implied Y. Okay, let F be the FD set function set, and any x function implied Y is a member of FD set if x is logically implied in F. X logically implied means x determines Y. Then we can say that x is a member or logically implied valid FD set. Membership set. Hmm. Membership set. Membership set. Membership set. Equality between two FD set. F cover G and G cover F. F cover G and G cover F क्या होता है. And equality between two FD set. F cover all the FDs of G. G cover all the FDs of F. Mhm. Minimal cover. The objective of minimal cover is to elimination of redundant FD. Minimal cover to reduce redundancy. Redundant FD. Deletion does not affect the power of FD set. Redundant FD. Okay, redundant FD is that FD. If we delete that FD, then if we delete that FD from original set, then it will affect. Then after deletion, there will be no effect, and the power of FD set will remain same. Canonical cover sets of FD. Redundant FD that can be inferred from the minimal cover effect. Canonical cover. Set of FD may have redundant dependency that can be inferred from the results. Canonical cover, minimal cover, या फिर Canonical cover. Equality between two FD set. Extraneous attribute. If we remove delete that attribute after removal of that attribute, not affect the power of extraneous attribute. Mhm. Extraneous attribute. Extraneous attribute. Dear. Mhm. Satsavara. Closure of minimal cover. Canonical cover. Minimal cover सभी की होता है. Mhm. Closure of FD attribute set. Closure of FD set. Attribute closure. Set of all possible FD which can be logically closure of FD set. Attribute closure or closure of FD set. Attribute closure और closure of FD set में फर्क है भाई. Closure of FD set. Closure of FD set. Set of all possible FDs which can be logically determined is called set of all possible FDs. Set of all possible attributes. Set of all possible FDs which can be logically determined by what is called. Mm-hmm. FD which can be derived from the given FD. Set of all possible FD. Set of all possible FD which can be derived from the given FD and is logically determined. So closure of FD set. Set of all possible FDs which can be logically determined by given set of all possible FD which can be logically determined the given FD set is called closure of FD set. Hmm. Hmm. Finding super key. decomposition. Properties of decomposition. Lossy, lossless joint. Pressure brings decomposition. Properties of decomposition. Properties of decomposition. Mhm. Lossless joint decomposition. Lossless joint decomposition. Lossless joint decomposition dependency. Lossy lossless joint decomposition dependency. Preserving decomposition. Position. Lossless joint decomposition. Preservation. Normal form. 6 बजे से तो वो करेंगे देखते हैं. Of rules to reduce eliminate the normal form is a set of rules to reduce normal form. What is normal form? Set of rules to reduce or eliminate the redundancy. Redundancy is unnecessary repetition of data. Normal form, it is a set of rules. It is a set of rules to reduce or eliminate the redundancy. It is a set of rules to reduce or eliminate the redundancy. It is a set of normal form is a set of rules to reduce or eliminate the redundancy. Normal form are the set of rules to reduce or eliminate the redundancy. Various normal form 2, 3 boycott normal form. This normal form. Boycott normal form. Fourth normal form. Every higher normal form contains the lower normal form. A relation scheme is for attribute are atomic. Atomic. Does not contain any multi-valued attribute. Full functional dependency. Functional dependency is full functional dependency. One means it depends, it does not depend anymore. That is, X does not function determined by Y. A functional dependency R is into one if every non-prime attribute in R is fully a non-prime attribute is fully functionally dependent on the primary key of R. T. Hmm. R is into one if all are atomic. Attribute of R, all attribute of R, all attribute of R are atomic. And second NF में is in 2NF, R is in 2NF, 2NF if every non-prime attribute, if every non-prime attribute, any non-prime attribute A in R is fully functionally dependent on primary key of R. If every non-prime attribute of A in R is fully functional dependent on primary key of R. If R does not contain any transitive dependency, if if R does not if R does not contain any transitive dependency, 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 if R does not contain any transitive BCNF, if whenever a non-trivial FD holds an R, then X is a superkey of R. If for every non-trivial for every non-trivial FD, X must be a superkey. X must be a superkey. X must be a superkey. Voice code. No. ठीक है, ठीक है, तो उसको थोड़ा सा वो इधर थोड़ा हेडिंग में डाल दे, इंट्रोडक्शन, dbms file system कनेक्शन dbms टप्पल फील्ड स्कीमा यहाँ से डाल दे, फंक्शनल डिपेंडेंसी एंड नॉर्मलाइजेशन। अभी मैं सिर्फ उधर से ख़त्म कर रही हूँ, 5:30 तो बज गए। अभी मैं सिर्फ इधर से ख़त्म कर रही हूँ, फिर मैं उधर जाऊँगी। ER मॉडल थोड़ा सा क्वेरी लैंग्वेज पढ़ना पड़ेगा बस। ER मॉडल, ER मॉडल, entity. What is entity? What is entity? एंटिटी क्या होता है? एंटिटी सेट क्या होता है? एंटिटी सेट क्या होता है? एंटिटी फिजिकल लॉजिकल दोनों ही होती है। व्हाट इज ऑब्जेक्ट? एंटिटी is an object that exists and is distinguishable from other object. Entity set is a set of entity of the same type that share the same property. An entity an entity is an object. Entity is an object that exists. An entity is an object that exists and is distinguishable from other object. An entity is an object that exists and is distinguishable from other object. An entity is an object, physical or logical. Physical, like book, logical, like account. Entity is an object that is distinguishable from other object. An entity is an object, physical or logical object that exists and is distinguishable from other objects. Entity set of entities of the same type that share the same property. Set of entities of same type. Set of entities of same type that share same property. That share same properties. Set of entity set of entities of same type. Set of entities of same type that share same properties. Set of entities of same type that share some properties. Set of entities of same type that share some properties. अच्छा, मैं लाइव हूँ, मुझे याद ही नहीं था. Where are you guys? Set of entities that share some properties. हाँ चलो वैसे ही कोई है नहीं. Let's move ahead. It is a set of entities of the same type denoted by rectangular box. Entity can be identified by a list of attributes which are placed in ovals. Entity relationship set. A relationship is an association among several entities. Relationship set is a mathematical relation among two entities. The relationship is an association among several entities, and this relationship set is a relation among two entities. Collection of similar relationship. The association among different entities. Associate relationship is association among different entities, and collection of relation is called relationship set. It is used to describe an entity. Attribute. Attributes are property used to describe an entity. Attribute are the properties. Attribute are the properties used to describe an entity. Attribute are the properties that is used to describe an entity. Attribute are the properties. Attribute are the properties used to describe an entity. Attribute are the properties used to describe an entity. Attribute are the properties used to describe an entity. ठीक है, थोड़ा सा ना अपना दिमाग भी लगाइयो. क्या बोल सकते हैं पेड़ को बोल. Simple composite, single valued, multi-valued, stored, derived, key attribute, complex attribute, complex, which can't be divided further, composite which can be divided further. Each entity is a single atomic value. Each entity is a single atomic value. Or descriptive attribute, descriptive, uniquely and descriptive, gives information to the relationships and complex attribute, composite plus multi-valued, composite and multi-valued. Degree of relationship set. Number of entities set participate. Degree of relationships. Degree of relationship set. Degree of relationship set to number of entities that participate. Number of entities that participate in a relationship set. Number of entities set to participate in a relationship set. Number of entities that participate in a relationship set. Binary. Number of entities set. Number of entities set participate in relation. Number of entities. This number of entities that participate in a relationship. Binary. Binary. Ternary. Number of entities set. Number of entities set participate in a relationship set. Number of entities set participate in a relationship set. Number of entities set participate in number of entities set participate in number of number of entities that participate in participation constraint. Total participation constraint. Total participation. Partial participation. Total participation. Partial participation. Then cardinality constraint. Mapping cardinality constraint. Mapping cardinality constraints. Mapping cardinal express the number of entities. ठीक है तो ये भी तो participate degree of relationship number of entities set. Number of entities that participate in relationship set express the number of entities to which another entity can be associated with a relationship. Entities to which another entity can be associated. Number of entities degree of relationship number of entities that is participate in a relationship set. Mapping cardinality constraint में number of entities to which another entity can be associated with a relationship set. Number of entities to which another entity can be associated via relationship set. Number of entities to which one entity is can be associated with a relationship set. One to one, one to many, many to one, many to many. Strong entity set vs weak entity set. Strong entity set, weak entity set. Entity weak relation. Identifying weak relationship. Attribute key attribute multivalue derived. Right. Foreign key is a set of attributes that references to primary key or alternative key of the same relation or other relation. That references to foreign key is the uh, set of attribute that foreign key is the set of attribute that references to primary key or alternative key of the same table or another table. It is used to relate a relation with other or some relation. Referencing relation table which contain the foreign key is known as referencing relation. Child relation. Referencing relation. Referenced. Referencing relation which contain child relation which contain foreign key. Table which is referenced by foreign key. Table which is referenced by foreign key. Okay, table which is referenced by foreign key. Foreign key constraint. Reference relation. Referential integrity constraint. Constraints में आएगा ना ये constraints. बहुत गंदा टॉपिक है ये. मैंने कहा था मुझे ईयर मॉडल में ही मोटा आती है चार्ट. ये पता नहीं ये सब क्या पढ़ा है. कंस्ट्रेंट अभी मैं कहीं और से पढ़ूंगी, इससे नहीं पढ़ रही. डोमेन कंस्ट्रेंट, की कंस्ट्रेंट, ठीक है ये रहा. डोमेन कंस्ट्रेंट, की कंस्ट्रेंट, एंटिटी की कंस्ट्रेंट यूनिकनेस का होता है. चलो बच गई भाई, मैं बच गई बार बार. कंस्ट्रेंट्स 4 कंस्ट्रेंट होते हैं. डोमेन, अरे यार डोमेन कंस्ट्रेंट्स, की constraints, entity constraint, referential integrity constraint. डोमेन कंस्ट्रेंट कहता है एटॉमिक हो. की कंस्ट्रेंट कहता है यूनिकनेस हो. एंटिटी कंस्ट्रेंट कहता है प्राइमरी की नॉट नल. फॉरेन की कंस्ट्रेंट, रेफरेंशियल इंटीग्रिटी कंस्ट्रेंट, फॉरेन की कंस्ट्रेंट. इंटरशन डिलीशन का आ जाएगा ना. तीसरा अब ये देख लेंगे. Self-referential relationship set, recursive entity set, entity set related to some other entity of this. क्या कह रहा है? Entities of entity set E related to some other entities of the same entity set. Self-referential relationship set. Self-referential relationship set. Relationship set. ER model. What is ER model? ER diagram. High level design. Hmm. DV design step requirement. What conceptual and logical. Conceptual and logical ER diagram. RDBA table and deploy normalization. Physical TV design, indexing design. This design and security design. High level design and low level design. DV design steps. डेटाबेस डिजाइन स्टेप्स में आता है रिक्वायरमेंट what type of data is stored and what kind of operation required what type of data is stored and what operation required conceptual and logical ER diagram ये तो हो गया 3 high level design conceptual and logical ER diagram ER to relational mm, normalization physical database design indexing design user interface design and security design Mm-mm-mm. Low level design mm. User interface design and security design Yes, Okay, let's suppose we have two relation R and S. And R have attribute ABC and S have attribute DEF, and we want to know all the attribute which is less than C less than F. So F is in B table, but C is in first table. We can't directly compare both of them by using only simple operators. So first we have to cross product both table to compare, and when we convert this table, then comparison is possible. And to perform join operation. सब अच्छे से डेटा साइंस करेंगे भाई. It will retrieve values of attribute A, B, B. Find A for every B. SID not enrolled. Second attribute was the same. Pi suppliers. पहले P2 से निकाल लो, फिर P2 की जो टेबल है सप्लायर्स P2 से P2 से P2 से P नंबर है ना, तो सप्लायर्स P2 से पहले एक एक करके निकालते जाओ. फिर जो है उसमें P4 से. Cycle must be same. रिलेशनल अलजेब्रा के बाद अब आ जाते हैं एसक्यूएल द मोस्ट यूनिट data definition language, data creation language, data control language, data query language. ठीक है, that's it. क्या बोलते हैं, खत्म करते हैं लाइव. एंड का ऑप्शन भी नहीं दिख रहा मुझे तो. मेरा एंड स्ट्रीम